Today we will be giving an in-depth look at everything Redsec has to offer, especially with the Battle Royale mode, and how to get potential wins, including how to improve your game and overcome opposing squads to get an edge on the mode. Let's get right into it. Assault having a ladder for verticality as well, with finding intel cases for XP in tough to reach spaces, alongside the cluster grenade launcher, which comes very handy dealing with a lot of damage to squads in a small area, breaking their armor plates and health included. The cluster grenade launcher can also be used to open up safes that are required for the repair tool. Sometimes if you get lucky, you could down multiple members in a squad with one or two of these cluster rounds. And with Engineer, you are equipped with an aim-guided launcher for long-range engagements on tanks and tearing down buildings, exposing enemy positions, leaving them with nowhere to run or hide. Along with their secondary equipment being the repair tool for repairing your tank or opening locked safes, as I mentioned earlier, for intel cases and potentially a rocket launcher and a guarantee weapon within it. Intel cases are useful to increase the XP needed for your trait path. These are passive traits within the game mode you earn in tiers through XP limits to reach to the next tier of your training path the mode gives you. You can also receive 500 XP towards your training path by picking up intel cases all over the map. These intel cases, by the way, also give a certain audio cue when you're near them. A gold outline will also identify the case for you to help find them. These intel cases can be discovered in very nifty spots across Fort Linden. Some are located on top of shipping containers, truck beds. Having someone as support guarantees your squad unlimited ammo from their permanent gadget, which is the ammo and health pack. Resupply your squad as long as they remember to toss a bag down for the squad. The more kills you get and the more points you earn, the faster your gadget regenerates for your class. The secondary equipment is a smoke grenade launcher to revive squad mates under concealment. The recon drone can be very useful with helping identify squads. They removed the option of zooming in on the thermal for the recon drone now, so squint with your eyes to look at afar sometimes, and you can drop bombs and self-destruct these drones to help get an edge on the enemy squad for your team to jump on them. Using the recon drone can help you in scenarios where you could be surprised by an enemy squad waiting for you to push up. Recon also has a tugs as secondary gadget to survey your nearby area, ranging as far as 50 meters around you. This can really help identify when the enemy are coming in if you're enclosed in a surrounded area by enemies. My suggestion is to always have at least one recon in your squad while having two engineers along with a support, and one of the engineers in your squad to switch up as assault every now and then, so your redeploys are 30% faster coming in. I want to mention real quick that every gadget or equipment for each class you are equipped with are on a cooldown system, so you can reuse them unlimitedly, but you have to wait for that cooldown to reuse them. Make sure you complete as many missions as possible to improve your training path tiers to get your final one that benefits your team the most. All missions you do vary with rewards. Either you will get a custom weapon drop or gold to purple tier weapons in a reward drop. The higher tier loot, always the better. The tiers range from light blue, dark blue, purple, and then gold. Gold obviously being the best, and purple is as far as you could go when it comes to upgrade kits for your weapon. Gold is very rare, and you'd have to find them across the map, which they vary between location or completing missions, as I mentioned. You can also achieve missions to guarantee your squad a mobile redeploy alongside artillery or airstrikes, and soon they'll be bringing in a new airstrike system later into Season 3, which we will find out what that's going to be, and I'll explain that in another video for you guys. Also, the more missions you complete, the more XP you receive for your training path tiers. Each mission gives you either 1500 to 2000 XP towards the tiers in your training path, with white and gold custom weapon drops in the game, so people are confused with what they stand for. So here I am to explain. So the gold custom weapon drops are a limited timed weapon drop earned by missions you complete, while white custom weapon drops appear early on in the game all around remaining sectors of the map. They're there all game long until the firestorm closes in and burns them, but they're always there on the map and they're accessed for every squad, including gold ones. When you see a custom gold weapon drop, expect it to be a squad that earned it and a squad to be there as you run for it, because most likely you will run into that squad that just earned that and they're waiting to bait it out. Finding vehicle keycards grant you access to main battle tanks and IFVs and vehicle garages all over Fort Linden. They have limited ammo within Redsec unless you resupply them at vehicle resupply stations all across the map. Before you even take the tank into battle, top off your ammo first with the resupply station. They don't start off with the maximum amount of ammo Redsec provides you with in tanks, neither transport helis. So you can take little birds and transports to the vehicle resupply stations to stock up on ammo or top off beyond what the vehicle's limit was when you first jumped in. For example, the transport heli starts with a spare belt of ammo for the miniguns with 150 rounds to spare and 150 rounds loaded. But if you take the transport heli to a supply station, you stock up with another 150, making it 300 spare along with 150 in the gun already. But these stations are limited on the map. You can only use the same vehicle supply station a limited amount of times, so you have to move across supply stations to keep your vehicle topped off. The best drops on the map to start with, I would recommend, depending on the game's start with the Firestorm, would be Crash Site for good tier loot, the bunkers of course for great tier loot, but at a risk of a lot of people dropping there with. Chemical storage has great loot as well. Ground Zero is another decent spot with most likely mid to high tier and loot, but not too many boxes to loot. And Area 22B, especially the satellite dishes on top of the mountain looking over Area 22B. I also recommend the sound dish across from Area 22B on the right side below combat area. This is another great spot. Each section I mentioned always grants 2 to 3 class weapon loot boxes. Depending on the class you are, that orange box will grant you guns that will fit best for your class that you rock. So for example, if you're recon, it'll give you sniper rifles. If you're support, they'll give you LMGs, assault rifles, engineer SMGs within the class loot boxes. What I like about the satellite dishes on top of the mountain looking over Area 22B is you have a far range looking out afar from the map. This gives you identity on where enemies are fighting, where squads are located, and great loot overall. Each one of these locations I mentioned always have a risk of a squad or two dropping with you, so always keep your ear out. When countering incoming attacks with evading, you always want to plan a second line of defense after acknowledging your first plan didn't work. That means looking at your surroundings, looking for cover to evade the ambush and rotate around the edge of the line. Using the Firestorm can be your best friend. Using the fire can conceal you from thermals and make your silhouette blend in. With the shadowing of the flames closing in, even finding a spot to bunker down and not move for the enemy squad to pass, giving yourself space from the storm and the enemy so you could bring your team back into the fight with the redeploy station or the mobile redeploy beacon. The mobile redeploy beacon was introduced in Season 2's update. Shooting the purple smoke grenade off the mobile redeploy will help conceal the beacon so no enemy squads find yours or the beacon's location. I don't think this is allowed anymore, by the way, after some time of the Season 3 update, but give it a try anyways. Surveilling the area before moving up to the next section of the zone can be daunting, but with the right equipment, using the recon drone and the UAV can help you identify where the enemies are moving up to the next section of the map. Sometimes it's best to not engage on every enemy squad you see. Sometimes letting them pass might be the best option when you know your surrounding area is contested with squads circling you or your squad, or holding fire to see where all enemy squad mates are, pinpointing them, knowing their location so your squad all knows who to target and where they are located so you don't get surprised by one or two of them trying to counterattack or flank you, turn into tables. Also, avoiding engagements in certain scenarios can also prevent you getting third-partied from another squad. The in-game voice announcer will always announce to you that there's an enemy dropping in above you. Keep in mind, after you go down and get revived, you have a short duration where you will go down again and won't come back at a down phase. You will be dead permanently until redeploy. So when you get revived, give yourself some time to plate up, regen your health, and regain the benefit of your down state. There's a triangle symbol at the bottom of your screen in the middle that indicates when your cooldown for another revive is up. Don't be feared if you go down constantly and feel like you're letting your team down, because your moment will come where your squad needs you in dire moments. Simply being there keeps your squad moving forward. Any thoughts to mention to your squad that they aren't aware of, or with callouts that could be useful, could be very beneficial. Even if you don't make an impact on killing or downing enemy players or make a damage on an enemy tank, for example. These small decisions change the tide of battle and help them get to victory or endgame. I found most games that I won, we stayed focused the entire game from start to finish without steering off course with conversation, so you know what's to come and what to expect for the next battle to get to endgame. Plating up between battles are key to coming out on top, especially in a mid-firefight. Top off at least 1 or 2 plates, and when you can, will help change the tide between you in your squad's battle against the opposing force. Sometimes dwindling the opposing squad of their attrition with plates and ammo will guarantee your squad coming out on top to win that battle. Avoiding the firefight when you can to keep top of your plates and top off your rifles with ammo and their magazines so you are ready to jump back into the firefight to help keep your squad in the momentum the whole way through till you and your group comes out on top. Finding a new location, repositioning, especially if you're sniping, is key. When you lose one or two of your squad mates, my suggestion is to evade from the firefight to bring your crew back in the fight when it's most crucial by redeploy stations. Radar site's another great one too, I forgot to mention, that has some of the best loot as well, including a hidden spot within the map down the road behind radar site, which grant excellent loot, but this little area will only be good for duos, for there's only a few boxes including the MRAPs that offer one good tier gun, 2 plates, and a gadget, even with a weapon kit. In Redsec, the entire environment around you is destructible, so keep in mind no cover is 100% safe. Blow up an entire building with rockets or C4 to blow up the enemy squad's cover. The firestorm is a deadly force of destruction, leaving everything behind it to waste. You will be killed instantly when you touch the firestorm. No hiding in the quote-unquote gas to get an advantage anymore. It's do or die here. Keep an eye on your indicator reflecting how close the firestorm is on your tail. The triangle filling up indicates higher risk of getting burnt by the firestorm, dwindling your health bar more and more the closer you are to the storm. Keep in mind with Redsec as well, the firestorm and the safe circle is always going to be closing in, always on the move. As the game progresses, it's never going to be at a pausing point. This is all I have for now. I'll be making a second video on weapons recommended for Redsec and other little recommendations I suggest, and explain why shotguns are useless in this specific mode. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, I love you all. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all in the next one. Like the video. Peace out.